You're sitting at your desk, bleary-eyed, staring at the screen. It's your third cup of coffee, and somehow, you still feel like you're thinking through fog. You push yourself harder, telling yourself that grinding through is what successful people do. But the shocking truth is that this approach is actually sabotaging your performance and potential. Most people believe that rest is just the absence of work, that it's what happens when you're too exhausted to keep going. This couldn't be more wrong. In reality, strategic rest isn't a passive activity. It's one of the most powerful performance-enhancing tools available to you. Here's what most people miss. While everyone is frantically trying to optimize their productivity systems and squeeze more into each day, the true high performers are mastering the art of strategic recovery. They know something that 95% of ambitious people ignore. Today, I'll show you exactly how to transform your approach to rest so that you can achieve more while doing less. This isn't just about feeling better, though you will. It's about becoming dangerous in your field by tapping into levels of creativity, focus, and energy that most people never access. And you need this information now more than ever, because in our hyper-connected world, the ability to rest deeply is becoming a superpower that few possess. I used to be that person who wore exhaustion like a badge of honor. I remember sitting in a coffee shop 3 years ago, my laptop open, my eyes burning, bragging to a friend about how I'd been grinding for 12 days straight without a real break. I genuinely believed this made me special, that my capacity to push through fatigue somehow made me more dedicated than others. I was wrong in the most fundamental way. What I didn't understand then, and what most ambitious people still don't grasp, is that our brains and bodies don't operate like machines. They function in cycles of energy expenditure and recovery. This isn't just some wellness theory, it's hard science. When neuroscientists look at brain activity, they observe what's called the ultradian rhythm, 90 to 120 minute cycles, where our cognitive capacity peaks and then naturally dips. Fighting against these rhythms doesn't make you stronger. It systematically depletes your mental resources. Let me share something personal. The year I pushed hardest, working weekends, skipping vacations, wearing my exhaustion like armor, was actually my least productive year. My decline was so subtle, I didn't even notice it happening. Projects that should have taken days stretched into weeks. Creative solutions that once came easily now eluded me completely. What was happening? Studies from performance psychology give us the answer. Chronic stress without adequate recovery leads to diminishing returns. After a certain point, each additional hour of work produces less output, not more. But here's the perspective shift that changed everything for me. Rest isn't the opposite of productivity, it's the foundation of it. The most dangerous people in any field aren't those who work the most hours, they're those who generate the most valuable output with their time. And that requires mastering the skill of high-quality recovery. So what exactly does this kind of strategic rest look like? I'm about to show you the exact framework I've used to transform my own performance, while actually working fewer hours. The problem isn't that we don't rest at all, it's that we rest poorly. We mistake distraction for recovery and wonder why we still feel depleted. Let me introduce you to what I call the R.E.S.T method, a framework I've developed after studying the habits of elite performers across multiple domains, from world-class athletes to groundbreaking innovators. R stands for rhythmic integration. This means synchronizing your work-rest cycles with your body's natural rhythms rather than fighting against them. E stands for energetic awareness. This involves understanding which activities truly replenish your energy versus those that merely distract you. S stands for strategic disconnection. This is about creating boundaries that protect your recovery from the constant demands of technology and obligations. T stands for transformative practices. These are specific techniques that don't just return you to baseline, but actually improve your capacity over time. Most people's approach to rest fails on multiple levels. Here's what it typically looks like. You work until you are completely drained. When you finally take a break, you immediately reach for your phone and scroll through social media for 15 minutes. You call this taking a break, but your attention is still fragmented and your nervous system gets no relief. You might then rest in the evening by binge-watching shows while simultaneously checking emails, essentially asking your brain to continue processing information. I was guilty of this exact pattern. I thought I was resting when I'd collapse on the couch after a long day and watch 3 hours of Netflix while periodically checking my phone. But this type of passive, distracted downtime doesn't restore cognitive function. It just creates a different kind of mental fatigue. The result? You never truly recover. You start each day at an energy deficit that grows over time, leading to what researchers call cumulative cognitive debt. But what if you could engineer your rest periods to actually make you more capable than you were before? That's exactly what we're about to explore. My friend, I'm curious, have you noticed specific activities that genuinely recharge you versus those that just distract you? I'd love to hear about your experiences with rest that actually made you more effective afterwards. Your insights often reveal patterns I haven't considered, and they might help others in our community discover new recovery strategies. Let me walk you through exactly how to implement each component of the REST method in your daily life. First, rhythmic integration requires understanding your own energy patterns. Start by tracking your energy levels throughout the day for 1 week, rating them from 1 to 10 every 90 minutes. You'll likely notice consistent patterns of peaks and valleys. This becomes your personal energy map. Once you have this map, schedule your most demanding work during your natural peak periods. Then, and this is crucial, proactively schedule 15 to 30-minute recovery breaks before your energy dips, not after you're already depleted. For example, I discovered that I have strong cognitive function from 7 to 10 a.m., then experience a natural dip. Instead of pushing through with caffeine like I used to, I now schedule a deliberate recovery period at 10 a.m. This might look like a brief walk outside without my phone, or a 10-minute meditation. I've got an important meeting at 2 p.m., but I notice I'm entering a natural energy dip. I'm going to take 15 minutes to reset now, so I can bring my best thinking to that conversation. Next, energetic awareness involves distinguishing between activities that truly replenish you versus those that just distract you. This is highly individual. For some, social interaction is energizing. For others, it's depleting. Create 2 lists: true recovery activities and distraction activities. Be ruthlessly honest about which activities leave you feeling restored versus just entertained. For me, a 20-minute walk in nature without my phone delivers more recovery than 2 hours of television. Reading fiction for 30 minutes replenishes my creativity more than scrolling through social media for the same amount of time. When implementing strategic disconnection, you need clear boundaries around technology and availability. Research shows that the mere presence of your phone, even if it's turned off, reduces cognitive capacity. True recovery requires genuine disconnection. Start with small technology fasts throughout your day. The first and last hour of your day should be phone-free. Designate specific rooms in your home as device-free, especially the bedroom. Set up automatic do not disturb modes during designated recovery periods. I've personally experienced dramatic improvements in sleep quality by establishing a digital sunset 90 minutes before bedtime, where all screens are turned off and notifications are silenced. Finally, transformative practices are specific techniques that not only restore energy, but actually improve your capacity. These include deliberate breath work, simple techniques like box breathing, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, can shift your nervous system from fight or flight to rest and digest in under 3 minutes. Active recovery, light physical movement that improves blood flow without creating additional stress, such as gentle yoga or a leisurely walk. Strategic napping, a 10 to 20-minute nap can boost cognitive performance for hours, but timing matters. The early afternoon dip, usually between 1 to 3 p.m., is ideal. Nature immersion. Studies show that even 20 minutes in a natural setting significantly reduces stress hormones and improves attention. The power of this approach became clear to me when I was working on a challenging creative project last year. Instead of my old approach of working until exhaustion, I implemented deliberate 90-minute work blocks separated by 20-minute recovery periods. During these breaks, I completely disconnected from screens and either went outside, practiced breathing exercises, or closed my eyes for a short meditation. The results were striking. Not only did I complete the project ahead of schedule, but the quality of my work was noticeably higher. Ideas and solutions that would have eluded my fatigued mind came easily because I was working with my brain's natural rhythms instead of against them. This is what it means to become dangerous through rest. You develop the ability to access your highest levels of performance, not by chance, but by design. As you implement this approach, Be aware of these common pitfalls that can sabotage your rest quality. 1. Mistaking distraction for recovery. The most common rest mistake is substituting distraction for true recovery, scrolling through social media, watching YouTube videos, or even reading news articles keeps your attention fragmented and your brain in an active processing state. I remember believing I was relaxing by checking social media between tasks, but I was actually adding to my cognitive load. The fix is simple but requires honesty. Ask yourself, do I feel genuinely refreshed after this activity or just momentarily distracted? True recovery activities should leave you feeling more energized and clear-headed than before you started. 2. Waiting until exhaustion forces you to rest. Many high achievers wait until they're completely depleted before allowing themselves to recover. By then, the recovery period needed is much longer, and the quality of their work has already suffered. I used to pride myself on pushing through until a project was complete, regardless of how long it took. The result? Work that should have taken hours, stretched into days because my cognitive function was severely compromised. The solution is to rest proactively, not reactively. Schedule recovery periods before you need them, treating them with the same importance as your most critical meetings. 3. Contaminating rest with guilt or anxiety. Even when physically resting, many people remain psychologically active, worrying about what they should be doing or feeling guilty about taking time off. I noticed this pattern in myself when I take breaks but spend the entire time thinking about my to-do list. This mental contamination prevents true recovery from occurring. The fix requires a mindset shift. Recognize that strategic rest is a productivity tool, not an indulgence. When you rest, remind yourself that you're not taking time off. You're preparing to perform at your peak. 4. Inconsistent recovery rhythms. Erratic rest patterns, like sleeping 5 hours during the week and trying to catch up on weekends, prevent your body from establishing the rhythms that optimize recovery. For years, I maintained an inconsistent sleep schedule, believing I could make up for sleep debt whenever convenient. What I didn't realize was how this irregularity was undermining my overall energy management. The solution is to establish consistent recovery rhythms, regular sleep and wake times, predictable break periods during your day, and weekly recovery activities that your body and mind can anticipate. Remember, your nervous system craves predictability. When you create consistent recovery patterns, your body becomes more efficient at both performance and restoration. When you master the art of strategic rest, when you learn to truly recover rather than just collapse, you unlock a level of sustainable performance that most people never experience. My friend, this isn't about working less for the sake of comfort. It's about optimizing your recovery so that every hour you work produces exponentially greater results. As performance expert Jim Lohr puts it, the ultimate measure of our lives is not how much time we spend on the planet, but rather how much energy we invest in the time that we have. I challenge you to implement just one element of the REST method this week. Start with a single 20-minute period of true strategic disconnection each day. No devices, no distractions, just intentional recovery. I guarantee you'll begin to notice differences not just in how you feel, but in the quality of what you produce. If you found this approach valuable, check out my other videos on performance optimization. I've got a whole series dedicated to helping you achieve more while doing less, and each video builds on these principles we've discussed today. Remember, in a world that celebrates the hustle, those who master the art of strategic recovery don't just survive, they become dangerous in their capacity to perform when it matters most.